Session review.
Hello, let's jump right back into it. We have another recession review after the final fight with Gervina's ending and the Rift and Arc is coming to a close. We are going to be reviewing how that wrapped up and also, you see how the team prepares to finish off this arc and move into the next one. So, as we get into it, the arc ended finally with the defeat of none other than Gervina. Vicus was taking over Gervina, using her body to fight the team. And while every single character was down besides Bunny, Bunny used her great powers as a paladin to get rid of Vicus's hold on of Gervina's body. Therefore, Gervina was able to be free. Her body was able to lay limp, and Vicus was able to be defeated. This was very useful, as without this, it's very likely that Bunny could have easily died in the next few turns and been taken out extremely quickly. So, truly a great act that Bunny gave to us, and was able to actually take out Vicus, and finally, and once and for all, have the team have ridded the entirety of the underworld of Gervina and Vicus's wrath. This then led to PepsiCo coming in. PepsiCo made his way into the place they had all been and started to try and collect. PepsiCo informed the team that in order to get a hold of the large vault that was underground, they were going to probably need his help. So they should work with him to make sure that comes to fruition. Some people seemed a little skeptical, but obviously Cruel Wrench assured the team that PepsiCo is a great person to have the vault. The PepsiCo agreed due to signing a contract with Diogen that the vault and some items in the vault, as well as a smaller vault, would be given to the team so they could have some items and make up a little bit from this fantastic event they had. So here is the contract they signed with PepsiCo. One item per person will be given to a team, as well as the smaller vault that Gervina owns. In addition, PepsiCo will admit to help them by paying for some of their shenanigans they do in the future, assuming they get approved by PepsiCo. And finally, one of the most interesting things, PepsiCo must draw one card from the deck of many things. This was signed on the contract by none other than Inu, with a quick sleight of hand without PepsiCo realizing, and it was then signed. So this is a very important piece of information, or a very important bargaining chip the team has over PepsiCo. As we talked about previously, if PepsiCo were to draw on the deck of many things, highly likely that PepsiCo would not have a great response from that. So very interesting to see how they want to use this to their advantage. But very, very interesting. Very, very interesting for sure. So, that being said, the loot. The team looted the small vault at the top right. It held Gervina's journal. It essentially just gave information on how Gervina she was a tortured soul. She really just loved a man, fell for Vicus, and then became one of his essential one of her pawns in this whole thing. Is she was used to do so many horrible things and essentially run the underworld, and they liked it with all the power, but in the end they kind of had gone a little mad with all of it. Also, the robot on the far left is the actual vault itself. The team could have possibly tried themselves, but didn't seem very likely. They weren't exactly in the best state of mind, and also the Hunter organization was knocking at the door saying they really wanted to come in, so time was of the essence, so they decided to make a deal with the devil, and we'll see how that turns out. One thing I'll also note is, as we were going at the vault, Edgar, our good friend, the person that was closest to Gervina's old husband, and the main servant that brought the team in, also signed a PepsiCo contract, but he specifically signed it with PepsiCo themselves. So a little interesting to see. Cruel Wrench is not able to get a contract in for themselves, but who's to say if there's any difference between those contracts? Additionally, on the bottom right, we have the items that the team was able to choose from the vault. There's more items, but these are the ones that I specifically gave them, and we're going to go over the loot that everyone got. So, the Amulet of Duality was inside of Gervina's vault. It was picked up by none other than Bunny, and it has a few interesting abilities, essentially making them resistant to most types of damages. It allows them to cast heal at 6 levels, so extreme healing to help out the team's dynamic. They can use this thing called Turn Evil, where they can channel holy energy, cause all fiends to make a saving throw, and if they don't take it, then they're going to have to turn turn on their side or turn against each other. So very interesting to have like essentially mobs of evil undead creatures attack each other, and also an aura of purity, which means the people within them in the radius of 10 feet cannot be attacked by disease or different impurities that could attack them. So very interesting item to see. We have the hooded cloak, also taken by Bunny. More or less allows them to cast Misty Step, also allows them to be very evasive, and also cast greater visibility once per day. Then we have the Staff of Confluence. Very interesting item picked up by good friend Cruel Wrench. Allows them to cast negative energy flood. 5d12, really explosive attack, so very powerful. They can also cast inflict wounds at 3rd level. And they can also cause an eerie darkness, which allows creatures with good alignment to feel unsettled. So a little interesting. Mainly going to give a little bit more options on, attacking spells to use besides just Eldritch Blast, and give a little bit more variability to their, play as it comes out. We have the Ornate Sword picked up by Inu. Allows them to essentially do additional radiant damage when doing attacks. They never have to sleep again due to this sword. A little bit interesting thing. And they always have +2 in initiative. So Inu would definitely have that benefit moving forward. They can also cast Shield, which is super useful just to have. And also, they are always blurting out extreme amounts of radiant energy. Or they can blurt out extreme radiant energy and make people take 4d6 damage within 20 feet of them. So a very interesting sword to come out. It gives a little bit more to Inu. They already had a lot, but give them a new interesting sword that isn't just Rimbio. They gave it some new name, which I'll learn as they blurt it out more often. And finally, we have the Enchanted Box. Very interesting item cooked up by our good friend ChatGPT. It is a random box that allows spells to be stored in it. And also once per day can be used to just pick out random information, either based on what they're doing or for the main quest to help the team understand. And it's able to cast the spell Glyph of Warding, which is a essentially latent trap that they can place on the ground or possibly in the box to help and lead people into possible danger. So very interesting stuff to see. A lot of loot came out last session we ended, and I thought it'd be nice to give everyone some loot, but definitely hoping to plan out better and do better in the sessions moving forward. Always tough to end off a big reveal in my mind. It's kind of hard to do the storytelling great. So I'm trying my best, but we'll have a little bit more as it comes in. We need to talk to Tom and Jerry a little bit more, Edgar a little bit more, and kind of see how that all comes together. And also I still have to talk to the Hunter organization, but I gave them a week off so they can go mess around. They're going to be messing around in the Wizardly Woods, which should have some interesting survival aspects coming on, which I'm very excited for. So I hope to see you all there, and I hope everyone had a fun time in the session this week.